First off, my name's Jim Klein, and I want to welcome all of you to the Vietnam War Veterans Monument. Today is National Vietnam Veterans Day. This is why we today chose to dedicate the monument before you all. It's been a long 2.5+ years. Along the way, there's been doubts, frustration, stress, moments when I wondered if I knew what I was doing. But today makes it all worthwhile. It may sound a little conceited, but I'm so proud of what we have accomplished that we finally get to say thank you to all the veterans here.
Yes.
Especially to those that served in Vietnam, but also to all of you who put on a uniform and served our country in other parts of the world. Thank you all.
Okay, hold on.
Hold on.
Okay, go for it.
Ready?
To all the veterans who served and to those veterans who never made it back, welcome home.
Privilege and honor to stand here before so many great men and women who served this country. I can't thank you enough and owe you a great debt. So today we're gathered here to dedicate this monument to those who faithfully served in the Vietnam War. I would like to talk for a moment about the human cost. We'll receive the stats here in a little bit. You'll know all the numbers, but there's much more than just the statistics when it comes to war. More than 23,214 soldiers suffered 100% disability in the Vietnam War. Even when it already ended, the war continued to cost many American lives. It is estimated that 70 to 300,000 Vietnam veterans committed suicide. Around 700,000 veterans suffered psychological trauma. And to that number, the families that were affected as well. Mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, wives, and children. According to the Department of Veteran Affairs, 7.3% of Americans who are or were soldiers have stood the challenge when attacked or when we saw the oppressed forsaken. We served our country when asked, whether drafted or volunteered. We owe a huge debt to these who were and are willing to pay with their lives.
All right. Welcome home, vets. Fellow veterans. Good afternoon, friends and neighbors and ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome everyone to today's dedication of our Vietnam War Veterans Monument. This has been a long time coming, folks, but I'm a happy guy. This monument represents not just the veteran who gave the ultimate sacrifice in Vietnam, like Washington County's own 17, but all military who served in country and throughout our armed forces during the Vietnam War. I'm honored, and by golly, I'm humbled to represent all my fellow veterans and Vietnam era veterans. I consider myself just an average guy who chose to join the Air Force in 1966. In August of '68, I volunteered to go to Vietnam. Coming from a family where just about everyone served in a branch of the military, I take pride that my father, my stepfather, both my brothers, my sister, and a host of aunts, uncles, and cousins served in the military. That's why I readily decided to go to Vietnam. I felt that for me, it was the right thing to do. Now I'd like to give some statistics about the Vietnam veteran that may be surprising to some, but enlightening to most. 75% of Vietnam-era veterans enlisted, and only 25% drafted, but 38% of them served in Vietnam. 34% of African Americans volunteered for combat arms. Of the 2.7 million Americans who served in Vietnam, 58,479 were killed. 303,704 were wounded. 2,338 were either missing in action or a prisoner of war. And as I currently stand here, there's still 1,875 unaccounted for Americans.
Ask all of, please join me in singing God Bless America. If you'd like to stand, please do so. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Get this.
I got them over there.
Ready. Aim. Fire. Aim. Fire. Aim. Fire. Freeze. Set. Push. Ah!
At this time, I would like to read off 17 names of the veterans that lost their lives in Vietnam from Washington County. First name, Edward Ralph Glenn Jr. Douglas Lee Tracy. Kenneth Lamar Devers Jr. Ralph Preston Flint Jr. Ronald M. Adams. Harry Lee Watkins Jr. Harry Leon Acton. Jack Allen Beard. John Franklin Hutzel. George Edgar Massey. Nolan Darrell Bird. Orville Lee Knight. Otto Philip Barnhart. William Lewis McGowan. James Irwin Dodd. Hugh Julius Ronberg. And Ronald Lee Sandbauer.
Honor guard. Trail arms. Post.